Govs Radio. This is where you go if you want to see something or if you want to hear something funny. Coming up in just a couple minutes. This is a joke I told. What? I'm not on Gov Radio? Call the police. Call my agent.
The Knock 'em Dead Comedy Radio Show also brought to you by Two Eagles Auto Body. For more than 25 years, Two Eagles Auto Body has been the leader in auto body repairs and customer satisfaction on Long Island. Two Eagles Auto Body handles every type of auto repair, from custom applications and restorations to repairs involving insurance claims. So call Two Eagles Auto Body and ask for John Rossi at 516-328-2527. The Knock 'em Dead Comedy Radio Show also brought to you by Two Eagles Auto Body. For more than 20...
Taxi! Get him now, before the police come.
T-minus 5, 4,
Hey, come here.
3, 2, 1. Ignition. Liftoff.
The white zone is for immediate loading.
La zona blanca es...
This afternoon. Fabulous.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. It is Monday. Thanks for joining us here on the Knock 'em Dead Comedy Show, coming at you live from Governor's Comedy Club, the legendary Governor's Comedy Club right here in Levittown. Thanks for joining us today. We got a great show coming your way. Very excited. We were supposed to have Joe DeJesu here. I don't know where he is, to be honest with you. So we're still hoping he shows up. But in the meantime, of course, Jules is here. Jules, there she is. But very special guest, there he is. Now we're getting our technology working here. The one, the only, the legendary comedian and fellow Beatle nut, the host of Tell Me Everything on SiriusXM Insight and the John Fugelsang podcast. The one and only John Fugelsang is here, ladies and gentlemen.
Happy Monday. Hello.
Happy
Hi.
Monday. Thanks for joining us, John. This is a thrill. We are thrilled to have
It's
you
a
here.
real honor to tear your show down to my level. Thank you.
I was going to ask you that. I guess was my timing just perfect that you had nothing to do today?
Listen, I'm happy to bring all my hate trolls to your wonderful world. It's great to be here. Thank you.
Your hate trolls. You probably do have a lot of hate trolls with all the political stuff, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's the religious stuff I do that gets me the real hate trolls. I'll tell
I
you.
want to be a hate troll.
You want to be a hate troll? John is awesome, though.
I've never heard his topics. I apologize. I haven't
you've
heard
never
his
seen it?
podcast.
Never seen
Nope.
never heard the podcast. Yeah, well, he's been around, and of course, I know you going back 30 years ago to VH1. Was that your big break, getting on VH1?
I guess it was my first real steady broadcast job.
Right. Okay.
I too am from the Isle of Long.
Right.
I grew up in Bohemia, which is the most ironically named town in America, and in Stony Brook. But yeah, it was that was where I sort of had my broadcasting grad school at VH1, and it's where I got to meet 3/4 of the Beatles. So it changed my life. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And yeah, when you were on Riccadonna and Burns podcast that we're doing here, they let me ask you about that. You were the last one to interview George Harrison on TV.
Yeah, let's be straight though. That's just part of my work release. My parole officer recommended me to do Riccadonna and Burns. Otherwise, I really would avoid those guys. I advise your listeners to avoid those guys.
I agree.
You'll catch rickets. But yeah, I
From Burn. Mark is all right, but
I don't know. I mean, I guess Mark repels coronavirus. He's very safe. George Harrison came in one day. I was about to go to London to do a live special with Paul McCartney, and I was all excited. I'd never been to the UK before, and they called me up and said, "Oh no, you've got to leave a day later." I'm like, "You're shaving a day off my trip to England? Why? It better be a good reason." And they said, "Yeah, George Harrison and Ravi Shankar are coming in." George had just produced an album called Chants of India for Ravi. It's like Indian Vedic. This was around a time in the late 90s. Kids won't understand, but Benedictine monks were getting hit albums at this time. It was a real wacky time for world music. So after Chant became a big hit, George produced Chants of India, and it's all ancient Indian Vedic chants, and George plays guitar on it. No one listened to it. It's very cool, but they stopped by to promote it, to do like a 10-minute interview. And I was the biggest George Harrison fan in the world. My parents had both been Catholic like his. My mother had been a nun. My mother was a nun and a nurse. She worked with lepers in Africa.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
My mother was from the South, and she went into the convent right after high school. The convent put her through nursing school. They then sent her to Brooklyn, where she met my dad, who was a young Franciscan brother. He taught history to Catholic boys in Brooklyn and wore the Jedi robes. And then they sent my mother overseas. My dad fell madly in love with this nun with a Southern accent. He knew he could never say anything. He had promised God he would never want to.
Yeah.
And he carried a torch for 10 years. Eventually, my mother left the convent and came back here, and my dad finally got her to leave. And they settled on the Isle of Long and tried to raise us to be progressive, free-thinking Catholics, which is why I do stand-up, because I can't afford the therapy I actually require. So I loved all the Beatles, and I loved all their solo stuff, but George was always very special for me, because he too had a very Catholic upbringing, and then went from there to go deeper into spirituality. And I always related to that. I never got into Krishna consciousness like he did, but I learned a lot about spirituality from him and his journey. And I knew that if I asked him about the Beatles, asked him to talk about John Lennon, he'd get up and leave. I just knew he didn't care about that. He didn't want to talk about it.
Right.
So I tried to ask about the new album, and I tried to ask as much as I could about God and meditation and what happens when you die. And I really learned if you have a celebrity of that caliber, someone who doesn't care about celebrity, if you talk about celebrity stuff, they're going to get really bored. But if you talk about the stuff that they never get asked about, that they care about, they might open up. And George wound up staying for 4 hours in our studio. And at one point, a guy on our crew came by, and his girlfriend, the guy on our crew's girlfriend came to visit, and she had a guitar. She was in a band. And I put the guitar in George's hands. And he hadn't done a concert in America since the 70s.
Right.
Over 20 years. And but he played 4 songs that he had never played live before. And it wound up being the last time he ever played or sang in public. He did perform a song at Carl Perkins' funeral like the next year, but that was never recorded as far as I know. So
there's on the bootleg, you go out and check out the bootlegs, it's out there. There is video.
What, at Carl's funeral?
Yeah, it's there.
Oh, I never knew that. Well, he played with, they loved each other. I mean, obviously, Carl was very close to George and with Paul. But this thing got heavily bootlegged. VH1 made it a special called Yin and Yang. Nobody ever saw it, and they put it on at 2 a.m. And I always felt like, oh man, I met my idol, and I was just a dope. I was making bad jokes about Rick Astley. I felt so like
that was classic. I thought that was hilarious, man.
Horrible. But then years later, he got really sick, and I was in Montreal doing the festival, and they called me up and asked if I would stop by New York City on the way back instead of going back to LA. I was living in California at the time. And they asked if I would come by to host like a re-edited version of the special. So I did. And all the stuff they took out, you know, when they first aired it, all the stuff about God and death and what happens when you die and the soul, they didn't air any of that. They were in my ear saying, no one wants to hear about death. You're talking to one of the Beatles. But when he got sick, they asked me to come recut it. So the day he died, VH1 aired it around the clock. And it's had millions of views on YouTube. And it was just George and some kid in his 20s talking about the soul of what happens when you die. And so I met my idol. I made a dope out of myself. But years later, it really wound up being a wonderful experience. And to this day, I'll have guys walk up to me in airports and hug me because they all say like they never saw anything that took spirituality that seriously on TV before. All George had to do was die to get VH1 to air it.
That's exactly it right there. I mean, well, yeah, it's a shame the man had to die for VH1 to air it, but I'm one of those. I mean, I'm with you. You get so many people. You know, the Beatles fans. You know, they'll watch something, you know, about Paul or George, and they get the same question, or Ringo, you know, the same questions over and over. You know, when did you first hear your songs on the radio? You know, like all those stupid questions where you had an interesting conversation with him. I remember you guys were talking about, you know, George asked where the real hippies are. Where did they go? And, you know, you told him they're driving BMWs now. And you guys had a real conversation.
He straightened me out on that because he was right. He's like, that's just, I was a kid. That was just a cliche. I mean, there really were some people from the 60s who really meant it and who stayed committed to a more, to justice and to environmental justice and to like making the world a better place and not just cashing in. So he was right about that. And I learned a lot from him that day.
That's fantastic. And yeah, I think one of his best interviews. Joe DeJesu is here. Hello, pal. Nice to see you, pal.
Good to see you too. Sorry I'm late.
That's all right. Joe, for those of you who don't know, plays in the band Big Shot, Billy Joel tribute band featuring Mike Del Giudice, who is in Billy Joel's band. That's a big explanation right there. But
I saw Mike Del Giudice in Big Shot years before he ever joined Billy Joel's band, by the way. 1990 was the first time I saw Mike Del Giudice in Big Shot.
Wow. Yeah, that goes back a long way. Yeah,
but well, he's not Big Shot anymore.
What do you mean it's not Big Shot?
Big Shot's been dropped. It's just Mike Del Giudice now.
Really? I didn't know that.
I haven't been around.
No, I guess not. How long? When did that happen?
God, probably. It's been like maybe 6 months or.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
So it's just Mike Del Giudice.
We're not doing just Billy stuff.
I was just about to ask if it's just Mike Del Giudice. He's trying to get his own.
We're doing a lot of his original stuff, which he's dropping an album real soon. So
yes, I saw that.
Yeah, and then we're doing just a bunch of classic rock stuff. Yeah.
So there's basically no longer a Big Shot.
The artist formerly known as Big Shot. That's how.
Wow.
Well, because then there's also from the Cans where he's playing drums. So whenever anybody talks about the band, I have to say, well, it's either Mike Del Giudice from the Cans or the artist formerly known as Big Shot. That's what I'm going with because it's hard to differentiate because they're both him. It's both it's
Right,
both his
yeah.
name, but
what I guess with Billy ending his run, Mike's trying to get his own. Like he's trying to push himself, he still has
he needs to be his own artist.
Well, true.
He just deserves it. He's just that talented.
Oh yeah, I
You know
agree
what
with that.
I mean,
But he still needs. But Big Shot it was just a draw on its own, whether they knew who Mike was or not.
right.
Yeah.
But I think little by little, people just know that Big Shot is Mike. I mean,
Sure,
he's gone
yeah.
through a lot of different members over the years, and it's
Yeah, true.
You really you really don't have Big Shot without Mike.
Well, yeah, right. Of course, right. Well, and how long you been in the band? Like a year or so?
I think full time a year. Before that, I was just kind of filling in for shows here and there. Yeah,
Right,
so probably
right.
about a year and a half, 2 years almost.
Oh,
yeah,
good
I
for
know.
you, pal.
Time's flying.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And Joe has a show. He still does his jam, Joe's Acoustic Mondays.
Rarely,
but you did it last night.
I did it last night just because of the Beatles. I came in during the conversation here, so I don't want to.
No, that's cool. It's cool. We're talking to John Fugelsang. He was.
Hi, John. Sorry, I don't even know where I'm looking. So.
You can look anywhere you
I
want.
haven't
but,
shared anything. I don't know where I'm sharing to.
I'll move the screen so you guys can
that's
see.
better. Now
but,
I can see what's up.
But you can look there.
I'll look there.
Right.
Okay.
That's the camera we're using. Actually, Joe, your camera is that one.
Okay.
But
the one that's
we
right
got
in front of me.
Yes.
Okay.
So your jam. Did you play Now and Then last night?
We did. We played it twice.
Oh, you played it twice.
They came over about 20 minutes before we went live. We learned it real fast.
Yeah.
And we just did it. It was fun.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's the big topic today for all of us Beatle geeks out there. Now and Then, a new Beatles song that came out last week. I'm just going to give a quick history of it as fast as I can, and then I'll ask everybody their thoughts, and we'll go from there. So, for those of you who don't live under a rock, back in the 90s, the Beatles put out what they called the Anthology series, and the three surviving Beatles got together with Jeff Lynne from ELO, and they took John Lennon demos and basically finished these songs. Free as a Bird and Real Love were the two songs that were released. There was a third called Now and Then, but back then the technology just wasn't as good, where they couldn't really get a lot out of the cassette. John Lennon basically recorded these songs on a regular cassette that we all used, back in the day of cassettes. It was just cassettes. And they just, even if you listen to Free as a Bird and Real Love, like the quality of John's parts are not great, but the other three, made the songs great. But they just couldn't get Now and Then, they couldn't get it to their satisfaction, so they shelved it. But now with this new technology, the AI technology, they were able to enhance John's vocals. They were able to get rid of his piano because that was kind of screwing things up. They were able to make the quality better, and they had some guitar parts that George laid down back in the 90s when they were working on the song. So Paul and Ringo, with today's technology, they finished the song up and just released it last week, and I think it sounds fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I'll start with you, Jules. You've heard it, I'm assuming?
I heard, yeah. I was listening to WFUV, I think, yesterday, and they played, like, the original, like Yoko, I guess, handed it off to Paul.
Right.
That just said whatever, John's whatever. And they played the original cut, like the raw cut. I thought it was fantastic. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I haven't even heard the remix.
Oh, you haven't
heard it? I
heard
only heard that version, and I
version,
loved it.
Wow.
And I just love listening to John, just, his dips into minor, vocal. Oh, I just...
Yeah.
You can go on forever about the theory behind the songwriting, which is we were doing that last night. Just being a musician and just listening to the things that he was doing. It's just always really fun to talk about.
Absolutely.
But what I think the most interesting part about all of it is that George didn't want to do it, right? George did not like the song at all, and I do think that Free as a Bird and Real Love are better songs. I think they made the right call.
Oh,
on
okay.
That. I mean, I like this song. I do like this, and it's growing on me even more. But he had a whole bridge. I don't, when you listen to the demo, he's writing the song. He's literally writing the song. That's what we're listening to. We're not listening to John. I mean, it's not really a demo. A demo is like, all right. I mean, I don't know the official definition of a demo, but you write a song, you go record it, and then maybe later on a different producer takes it and makes it even better. He's writing it. So it's as raw as it can possibly get, and it sounds great. But he's trying to find stuff. He's trying to find chords to go. He's trying to find different melodies. He didn't even finish writing the lyrics.
Right.
Paul had to finish some words in some spots where he's just like mumbling. So it's pretty amazing that they were able to turn that into a song.
Which is the Beatles. They were always experimenting in the studio. So who better to take this AI technology to take a demo that's not even finished and make something out of it. John, all right, so John, what do you think?
I love it. I love the originals, and really, it's amazing because if you were born in my generation, and you weren't around when the Beatles were together, the nostalgia is the mid '90s when they actually put out the anthology, and we got to have new Beatles songs for the first time. I was a huge fan, and I had, before I ever worked with Paul or worked with George, I had the John Lennon bootleg. Once upon a time, you had a lot of record stores that sold bootlegs on CDs, and I had a CD. I still have it to this day of the entire John Lennon piano tape, all the stuff he did that day. It wasn't just those 3 songs, but when Paul inducted Lennon into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a solo artist, that was the night that Yoko apparently gave him the tapes.
Right.
And so I think Free as a Bird is wonderful. I think Jeff Lynne did the best he could with the poor quality of the recording and the ghostliness, that mechanical sound. It's almost like a ghost on an answering machine singing through Free as a Bird. I think the video helps that song a lot too.
Yes.
The video is magical. Real Love, my wife loves it. My son loves it. It was always a bit tougher for me because John's voice is sped up.
Sounds like a chipmunk.
A little bit. I mean, you can hear on the soundtrack to the film Imagine John Lennon, they years before released the song as Boys and Girls, just a simple acoustic song with John on guitar. And it had already been released. Real Love is the same sketch of a song. You're right, I won't call it a demo. The same sketch of a song, just given a different title. And Jeff had to speed up the vocal a little bit to make it work. When you listen to that, again, I think it's Jeff Lynne's genius at its best. He throws everything at the wall to make it sound Beatlesque, and they pull it off. And all the other guys in Yoko signed off on it. So it's a Beatles song. With this one, George was the reason. George bailed on it. And the reason often given was that they could not separate John's vocal from the piano, and the piano was wrecking the vocal track. So, as has often been told, Peter Jackson did this amazing gift to everyone with the Get Back movie, and their technology allows you to completely separate, using AI, separating the vocal track. It's not a Franken song. It's not a computer recreating a simulation of John. That can be done, and that will be done, and it always will be.
It has been.
Probably heard. Yeah, here's the Beatles singing Oasis. I mean, that stuff's all over, and it's fun. It's novelty. I like it. But this will be the last new song that all 4 of the guys played on. I'm looking for someone to tell me where I can hear George's guitar parts, because the solos, including the slide, are all Paul.
Yes.
Paul did a slide as an homage to George, which I think is cool, but George didn't really play slide until well after the Beatles broke up. It was in the late 70s, early 80s that George really developed that distinctive slide guitar sound.
Yeah.
I have a playlist of just 80s George, and I love how he played then. You can listen to, we just came off the 35-year anniversary of the Cloud 9 album being released with Got My Mind Set on You and When We Was Fab. And you can listen to, like, from All Things Must Pass to Cloud 9. In 16 years, George completely changed the way he sang, his songwriting, and the way he played guitar. So Paul's homage to George is really an homage to George after the Beatles broke up, and it's lovely. What I liked most about the track is how understated it was. A part of me thought, oh, Lord, McCartney's in his 80s. He wants one more number 1. He's going to throw everything at the wall. Right. I wasn't ready for how subtle it is, how sad it is, how lovely it is, and how brief it is. I tell you, as soon as you hear the song, you got to play it again because it's over as soon as it starts. It wasn't that much of a song to begin with. It was just a couple of verses. I think the most miraculous thing about it is how lovely it is, how simple it is. And I think Peter Jackson's video really works by having goofy John Lennon from Magical Mystery Tour, from the Hello Goodbye video, and superimposing him in the footage. John's goofiness keeps the thing from becoming too mawkish and too self-reverential. It's actually really, really smart. It keeps it right on the edge. So it's lovely. It's already a number 1 in the UK. So if that's what Paul wanted, they did it. And I think it works really well as a very fitting coda. They could do this again. There's no more new songs, and there's no more George to lend parts to old John demos, but there's still a lot of Beatles songs that have never actually been released. They could do a whole album of non-album tracks, because on the White Album box set, there were so many songs they never released that they just dumped on there. There's also Carnival of Light, which is a long experimental Revolution number 9 thing they did that's never been released. So it might not be the last ever Beatles release, but yeah, this is the only song of this century that will feature all 4 Beatles.
I think John just summed it up.
I
think
was
we're
gonna say
done.
show's over.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even argue with any. I mean, everything that he said, I was like, that was what I planned on.
Absolutely.
Seriously, that
Spot
was,
on.
The George thing was
Everything
immediate.
you guys
for
said,
me.
I planned on saying.
That was my biggest gripe was that I felt no George in it.
Well, he's rhythm. I mean, you see in the video he's playing acoustic, and you could tell he's playing that particular song. It's not
Yeah.
just a clip, so it's at least that much.
If you're advertising this as the last Beatles song, I want the best elements of
Yeah.
what the Beatles were. You know, if you just put them into whatever box that they were supposed to. George was the lead guitar player. I want to hear George playing lead. I don't, you know.
But you don't have it, so I mean, so this is
Well,
you'll take this, right? I mean,
Did he
as
lay a
opposed to
solo
nothing.
to this? Because since they worked on it for a little bit, I don't know if he ever actually laid down
Yeah,
a solo.
I'm guessing not. I don't know if you know, John, but I'm guessing
I'm sure
no.
he laid down a lot. I'm sure he laid down a lot of solos for it. And again, it was George who nixed the whole thing. But you know, Donnie signed off on this. Olivia signed off on this.
Right.
Jeff Lynne does not get a production credit, but he gets a with help by
Right.
Jeff Lynne.
Okay.
And you know, I mean, Jeff Lynne is practically George's state of kin as far as I'm concerned musically. So, you know, they all signed off on it. George appears on it. Again, my one gripe is that I wish that there was something published that could tell me, you know, which acoustic strumming is his. I'd like a little more detail, but honestly, I didn't expect it to be so subtle and beautiful, especially after Real Love.
Yeah, right. Good point. Yeah, I thought it was great. And I hope they're going to take Free as a Bird and Real Love and fix them and fix John's voice. I mean, if you go on YouTube, like you said, there's the Beatles singing Oasis and you know all these other things, and there's people out there that have taken these songs and you know tried to fix them up, and John's voice is back to the normal speed. So hopefully
And you know what? Even if they don't do it, somebody will. There'll be some guy on the internet is going to give you, you know, Free as a Bird where it doesn't sound like John's talking through an answering machine. And
it's out there.
All these originals anywhere. You know, the big rumor for years was it Grow Old With Me?
Right.
Which did for one of his solo albums a couple of years ago, or Now and Then. Like we didn't really know which the third song was for over 20 years. It was always a debate what it was. So you know, it's fun, and I don't know if this will turn on a lot of young people to the Fabs, but if there's one 14-year-old who starts listening to Revolver because they heard this, then that's a victory.
Yeah, true. And just to go back to talking about Grow Old With Me, the version that's on the Lennon anthology box set where George Martin wrote an orchestral piece to go along with it.
Yes.
That rumor has it that's McCartney on bass, but it's never been.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
I
never.
love that box. That box set's hard to find nowadays.
Yes.
I still have it on CD, and I never heard that story before. That's great.
Oh yeah, and if you listen to it, it does like it is kind of like his style of bass playing. If you listen back to it, like son of a bitch, I bet that is him. And which to your point, that was another reason why I thought that was the third song too. It's funny you mentioned the guitar solo because I forget who I was talking to. It might have been my brother actually, where he said that slide guitar solo sounds more like Gilmour than George Harrison. I think he's actually right about that.
I mean,
Gilmour and McCartney are BFFs. Gilmour's played on a lot of McCartney records. That's
Sure.
Gilmour on More Lonely Nights.
Right. Yeah. So and then you mentioned the video too. So Joe, did you like the video? At first I was like, oh, this is goofy, but then after probably another 200 watches, I was like, all right, this is good.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I teared up a little.
Oh,
bit.
did you?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And I think that a lot of people that I talk to, when you ask them if they just listen to the song, more people are saying that they like the song when they listen to it while watching the video for some reason. You know,
Yes.
they would be like, oh, initially, but then when I saw it with the video, it was just, people were commenting on one of my Facebook posts, that exact sentiment. And I was just, it's amazing how a visual like that can just change your feeling on a song.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But.
And so John did. So immediately you saw it.
George was the last Beatle to ever have a #1 solo single, and I think it's because the "Got My Mind Set on You" video was so infectious and lovely.
Right. Well, yeah, but it's back when that song came out. Videos, I think, were more important. Not important, but they were.
Oh, they were.
Yeah, all right, but now I don't think music videos are as important. They because back then we just had cable. We didn't have our phones, so for teenagers, you know, that was the thing to watch MTV.
Is MTV even still around?
Yeah, true. And if they are, they're not playing
They're not
music
playing
videos.
videos, right?
So So the music video isn't as important today. Kids have, they're gaming and they're watching TikTok, and they don't, but that was our TikTok back then. So I don't think music videos are as important now. So but was it important for this song, or you just think it was a nice way to go out?
I think there's a lot of people who will hear this song because they watch the Peter Jackson video. It's getting a lot of hype and it's lovely. So I think, you fire on all fronts, and Peter Jackson is sort of the reason why we have this song to begin with. So, and he my big takeaway from the video was, I want to see the whole Magical Mystery Tour footage cleaned up now. I mean, John and George look so gorgeous in this cleaned up footage. I want to see, I mean, Magical Mystery Tour is unwatchably bad, but the performances are wonderful, and I'd love to see all that cleaned up and re-released too.
Right, that's where you get to see a performance of, I Am the Walrus, so your mother should know. I mean, it's good for that. The in-between bits are, I don't know what in the world is going on, but it's good for that reason. Yeah, so to clean that up would be nice. Which is a perfect segue into my next question. What are you hoping they do next? Like, are they, as far as cleaning stuff up or re-releasing, what do you hope is next?
For the Beatles?
Yeah.
Ooh, I mean, they put out these incredibly exhaustive box sets for Let It Be and for Pepper and for the White Album. I don't know what their next project in mind is. I'd like to think it'll be something with Magical Mystery Tour or Revolver. Well, never mind, they already put out a big set for Revolver. So I don't know, maybe releasing some live stuff. The big thing now is they're reissuing the Red and Blue albums, fully remastered, and they've added a lot of tracks to those two. Those were like the Beatles' greatest hits records when you were growing up in the 80s.
Right.
For those of us who missed the Beatles the first time, we had the Red and Blue albums in the 80s on cassette. And they've changed the track list a lot and put a lot of new stuff out. I mean, I'm like Ringo. I'm just glad to be here. Okay, like you've got the Beatles have the #1 single. The Rolling Stones have put out their best album in 42 years, maybe their best album since Some Girls, definitely their best album since Tattoo You, the first great Rolling Stones album since I've been old enough to buy records.
I agree 100%.
Bob Dylan just covered Leonard Cohen in Toronto last week. I mean, it's really a great
set the clocks back.
Like, to see our idols putting out good stuff.
Right.
It's like when you're in your 80s and you're still. It's not like you're. Look, we all know there's artists we love, and they do a GoFundMe and they put out a record, and it's kind of sad, and but when they're putting out dynamic music that isn't necessarily about getting old, just good music. I mean, it's thrilling to see artists in their 80s do that. It's inspiring on many levels. And look, I love the new Indiana Jones movie. I love seeing artists I loved as a kid who are still doing really interesting work now.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned that, because I was talking about it on my show, here on this show just a week or so ago, where I do find it kind of sad. You take a band like the Stones, and I said just that. I think it's their best album in years. But it's sad to me that, a lot of people, I mean, younger guys are supposed to have, their generation of bands. That's how it's supposed to work.
Younger guys still have bands now? Are bands still a thing?
Well, they have something. I don't know. They have one song on YouTube, I guess. Whatever it is they have. The young guys are supposed to have their generation of music, and every generation is supposed to have their own. But at the same time, it does make me sad that a band like the Stones puts out such a great album where even a lot of their fans from their generation don't even care anymore. I find that sad. In fact, I'll even go, too, with Mickey Dolenz, who just put out an EP of REM covers.
What?
I know,
It's fantastic.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. It's fantastic. I'm telling you.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's it's great. It's really great. What's
going on?
And
what?
But it's cool. Fine.
The most random sentence I've ever heard in my life.
Mickey Dolenz covering Shiny Happy People. It totally works. If the Monkees were still alive, it's a song they should cover.
Right. Exactly. Right.
Wow.
John sums it up right there. See, and I believe me, I did the same thing. I'm a Monkees freak. Beatles, Monkees, they all come hand in hand. When I first heard them, I was like, "What?" I did the same thing. Is this a joke? What is? But
it's like Johnny Cash doing the 9 Inch Nails song.
And look how well that worked.
It was great.
That was fantastic.
Went down in history as one of the greatest covers of all time.
Right.
I'm gonna have to pull this up now.
Oh, it's great, and so that's what I'm saying. So same thing. I'm like, oh, what the hell is this? But then I listened to it. I was like, what? Mickey Dolenz. I know it. People are laughing at me for even just saying that name, but the stuff he's been putting out the past 10 years or so
Who's laughing at you? Mickey Dolenz has been a terrific singer-songwriter for 50 years. Terrific guitar player, terrific frontman. He's just a great talent. Look, the Monkees have a bad rap because of their TV show, but the Monkees did one of the greatest things a pop artist ever did. The Monkees went from being celebrities first to artists then. Like, usually it's the other way around. Artists become celebrities. The Monkees realized they were nothing but celebrities, and they became artists.
Wow. Yeah. Again, sums it right up. See, this is why I'm a huge fan of John Fugelsang, because he just nailed it right there. And you go back to Mickey Dolenz, again, the past 10 years or so, the albums that he's put out have been really just... and then you also throw in the Monkees album, too, Good Times. It came out in 2016. One of their best albums by far. And his solo work that he's been doing is just unbelievably good.
So I haven't heard it, but so... you go back to the way records were made back then. I mean, now you have all this technology. You have auto-tune. You have, everything's quantized. So is the record, is it sounding like, like it used to sound, or is it modern, but just, is he auto-tuned? Is he,
No, I don't think so. Last time I saw Mickey Dolenz in concert was literally about 3 weeks before the quarantine. And the man could sing. I mean, that guy can sing. Yeah. And now he's, I think, 78 or something. He's just underrated, in my opinion, very underrated vocalist. And when I saw that show, I had the pleasure of meeting him after. And that was what I asked him.
Okay.
I said, you're singing just as good as you did in the 60s. I said, I don't know what it is that you're doing. I said, but whatever it is, I'm sure it's hard work. And he looked right at me. He goes, I'm old and I'm tired. That's what he said to me. Well, and then we joked about it.
I was old and tired too.
And rich, yeah. But so I do. I find
Mickey Dolenz did a lot of partying with John Lennon and Harry Nilsson. Don't forget that.
That's right. Yeah, and his voice is still good. Yeah, look what it did to Harry Nilsson's voice.
I mean, Paul Simon's voice is still great, and there's a few people from that era that still. I mean, whose voices still sound pure. I mean, Springsteen's voice is remarkable how well it's held up. Patti Smith's voice still sounds great.
Steven Tyler. That's all. 2 words. That's it.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean now he's
Grant Nash and David Crosby. I mean, and Stephen Stills kept their voices all sound pristine.
Yeah.
Not David's now, but
well, it might. We just can't hear it. But so I do. I find it sad. In fact, all right. Yeah. If you listen to the Stones album, in fact, that first single, "Angry," you can hear some auto tuning in that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not overbearing. Thank goodness.
It's the industry standard now. It's almost like you walk into a studio. It's just automatic. But I would think that a lot of those guys would be like, no, that's not what we do. We're old school, so I'm not going to do that.
Right. Well, but again, it's better than nothing.
I bet if Phil Spector had it, Phil Spector would have used it.
Right,
yeah,
right.
True.
It's a tool.
What matters is live. Mick Jagger's a shaman. He's a shaman. I love Keith and Ronnie, but Mick is the entire goddamn band. And seeing the Stones live is to see Jagger live. He's the greatest frontman. Sorry, Bowie. Sorry, Prince. There's no one that touches Mick Jagger. And what matters is he hits the notes in the live shows, and he still does.
Yeah.
I mean, Paul's voice is very thin. Paul's voice is really... I usually think if you're seeing McCartney, try to see him a couple of weeks into the tour when his voice has mellowed out a bit, because the first few dates, it's usually a bit rougher. But McCartney added a horn section to his band last year for the first time. And it was like hearing the songs again live for the first time. Songs I didn't give a damn about. I don't care about Let 'Em In or Lady Madonna, but with a live horn section, it was incredible.
Yeah.
So, even an artist like Paul, as his vocals are not where they used to be, he still finds new ways to make the songs come alive in very exciting ways for his live audiences.
He's got Abe doubling him a lot. I mean, and he refuses to lower the key. That's really everybody else basically.
He won't do it. He won't do it.
And he'll do 2.5 to 3 hours too.
I guess he's just too proud to make that jump. But so when I said Steven Tyler before we went to see Aerosmith, it was the last. But he blew out his voice, which I'm not surprised. He sounded ridiculous. He's singing the songs in the same, and he already sang in the Stratosphere back in the 70s and in the 80s, man. And he sounded like it was unbelievable. Yeah. And that was they had to cancel the rest of the tour.
Right. Yeah. But they're coming back after the new year, I think. Right.
I hope. I mean, if he was bleeding supposedly.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah.
So you're saying he should have adjusted his voice down an octave to sing the same songs or something?
Or just lower the keys,
a lot of people do it.
I mean, every time I see an artist for the most part, I don't know if the Stones, I haven't seen the Stones live. I would imagine that they do it.
I don't think they have. Now that you mention it, I don't think they have. Elton John did a lot of that. Phil Collins has done a lot of that. But I don't think the Stones have lowered any keys. I could be wrong there, but I don't think so. Robert Plant obviously does, but yeah, I don't think the Stones do.
Bob just changes the entire arrangement of the song.
Right. Every night.
Right.
Wow, that's fantastic.
I would think the Stones do. I would bet on it, but I might lose money.
All right, I'll bet you.
Yeah?
Yeah, name your price.
All I need is find one song that they lowered the key to?
Find one, but permanently lowered the key to.
All right.
Yeah, all right.
All right.
You're on. We have the guitar here that Jules actually gifted to the studio. Are we going to get a little now and then performance out of you today?
I mean...
He brought his own guitar.
Oh, did he bring his guitar today?
I did, but...
He usually doesn't, that's why.
I didn't sing it last night. My friend sang it. I played it. It's not musician hours either. It's only 12. Oh, it's 12:45. I can't.
Well,
remember.
it's 11. I didn't change that back. So it's 11. It's 11:40.
Okay.
You're right. You musicians are still sleeping at this point. All right. So, John, I don't want to keep you. You've been gracious enough to come on for all this time today. I did want to mention the podcast.
We're every night on SiriusXM Progress and our podcast. It's all politics, but there's a good amount of this. We just had Smokey Robinson on. We have a lot of artists and rock stars and rappers and movie stars as well. But it's the John Fugelsang podcast, or every night on SiriusXM 127.
Very nice.
This is a really fun discussion. And as someone who grew up going to see the Del Judas Band live, it's been a delight. So thank you all for having me.
John, it was an honor having you on here today, and I hope it's not the last one, because I would love to talk to you some more sometime.
Anytime. Next time I'll come talk about religion, get everybody mad.
Sounds good. Thank you, John, very much. Really appreciate it.
Peace.
All right, take care. Very nice. John Fugelsang. John Fugelsang, again, was he got his start on VH1. He was a VJ on there for a long time. Went on to he's done some off-Broadway stuff. He hosted America's Funniest Home Videos with Daisy Fuentes for 2 seasons.
Wow.
He's done off-Broadway. He's been on TV shows. He tours all over the country doing his stand-up. And again, has the podcast on Sirius XM Insight.
Very cool.
Yeah, that was very cool.
What's he doing talking to us?
I have no idea. I really have no idea. He even joked about that when he first came on. He goes, it's great that I can lower my level to be here with you. There's a show in here that I work on with comedians Mark Riccadonna and Richie Byrne. Those guys, again, they tour all over the country too. They've been at it for a long time, and they know John. So he was on their show once, and I met him briefly on Zoom through that show. So I emailed him last night. I'm like, I'm talking about Now and Then today. You feel like jumping on? Because I know he's a big Beatle fan.
Right.
And then I didn't hear from him until 9 o'clock this morning. Oh, yeah, I'll come on. I'm like, oh, shit.
Beautiful.
So I scurried real quick to put the Zoom together.
I know you didn't have all those notes for us. I mean, that was all for
you. Oh, yeah, I got nothing now. No,
well, he said everything. That's it.
He really did sum it all up. Like, he did 90 minutes of the show, like, in 2 sentences.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, what do I do now? Yeah, he was the last one to interview George on TV.
Really?
Yeah, that's what we were talking about when you walked in. He was the...
Wait, that thing where he played All Things Was Past?
Yes, that's John interviewing him.
Now, are you serious?
Yeah, I'm dead serious.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I wasn't
Ravi
sure.
Shankar on that too?
Yes. I wasn't sure if you caught on when we...
I did
That's
not catch
exactly
on
what we were
to
talking
that.
about as you were sitting down.
Wow.
Yeah, and
Can we call him back?
Yeah, I know. I was coming down.
Yeah, and they handed George a guitar. That's my favorite part of the interview. George is like, he was like going back and forth. Should I play? Should I not play? And then Rick Astley's like, I'll take a Rick Astley interview. I don't care. A Rick Astley medley. Play anything you want.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
And that's my favorite part of the interview. I laugh and even George starts to laugh. But yeah, that's what you're saying. That it was scheduled to be a 10-minute interview. It ended up going 4 hours.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. Wait, so how long was that before he passed?
About 4 or 5 years. I think that was 90.
Oh, wow.
He died in 2001.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was 97. I think that interview.
Okay.
But the funny thing was, Paul had just released his Flaming Pie album, and he was doing a Q&A in England that VH1 was taping for a special. John was host of that.
Oh my God.
And he was leaving on whatever day to go tape that, and he was excited because it's McCartney, but he's never been to England either. So he was excited. VH1 called him and said, "We're delaying your trip a day." He's like, what the fuck? He doesn't want to go to England. Well, it's because we're keeping you here to interview George.
Oh, well, that's okay.
Yeah, so he had to postpone
should've led with that.
McCartney to interview George.
Right.
So he did George, and then the next day flew out to England to interview McCartney.
And that's
How cool is that?
Is that on YouTube too?
Yeah, and actually, I think Paul actually put it out on a DVD, if I'm not mistaken.
And that's for Flaming Pie.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's they call it what do you call those Q&A things? A town hall. It's a Paul McCartney town hall. And
Right.
yeah, do you see John there? He's hosting that as well.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
That's
pretty cool.
I'm going to be looking at a lot of YouTube videos after I leave here.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Is that where you watch the video, like the new video on YouTube? Like
I think
where,
so.
Where
Yeah,
do
you
you
can- yeah.
watch it? On video?
The new
So-
Beatles thing, yeah, you can find it on
Oh,
YouTube.
okay.
Yeah, it's called Now and Then, and yeah, it's all over the place.
And then there's like a 12-minute.
Making of
Making of,
documentary,
right.
yeah,
And
which
then-
I didn't want to end when I was watching it.
I don't even know if I watched it. To be honest,
it's
I
fantastic.
think. No, I did watch that. What I didn't watch was the 30-minute thing on Apple TV. There's
Oh.
another thing that they were talking about the making of that somebody
Oh,
was
really?
telling me about that. That's
I
my
got to
next thing
find
watch.
that.
Yeah.
I did not know that. All right, let me go back. That was really So John Fugelsang, we thank him for joining us. That
Yeah.
was really great.
Well, it makes sense why he put everything so succinctly and beautifully.
Exactly. Yeah. Ken Pichelle is watching. Hello, Ken Pichelle.
What's up, Ken?
Andy Plagianos. Kids won't understand music shows on MTV and VH1. Yeah. Robert Shapiro. Hello, Robert. John is great during his regular Friday segment on the Stephanie Miller Show. Fridays with Fugelsang. That's right. Also on Sirius. Andy Plagianos. I always think I'm a Beatles fan until I hear this level of analysis and love. Analysis and love.
That's the thing about the Beatles. It's like I was saying this yesterday too. They're not just a band. I mean, literally, my whole family exists because of the Beatles. I met my wife at a Beatle convention.
Right.
That's still going strong after they're not done releasing stuff. Let's be honest. They're going to release another thing, another remaster, I mean, they're just always around. And obviously the Stones and whatever, but I don't know of a Stones fest, or I don't know of the Beatles are almost like a way of life for a lot of people. Some of the fans scare me.
Yes,
Like
I
scare
agree
me.
with that.
Like I'll consider myself a big Beatle fan. Then I'll talk to some people and I'll be like, I'm not saying anything. Like,
There are some Beatle fans that I feel ruin it for the rest of us because they're too much.
if you said anything bad about this song, you're like excommunicated in certain areas.
Right.
Yep. They can't handle anything. Just the fact that the song exists is, God forbid you try to
Yeah.
talk about or analyze it or say certain, it's still a song. If you're a musician, you want to pick out good parts of a song or you want to talk about it.
And Andy, I'm gonna punch you in the face. I mean, I don't have, that's what we do on here. When you're in here, we analyze jokes and you play your little demo, so to speak, of the jokes that you're working on. So it's the same thing. So shut up.
Yeah.
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 Ken Pichelle, it's nerding out on music, and music is math. Therefore, you should love this, Andy. Come on. I don't know why you would think that I wrote this in any way negative. Well, I always think I'm a Beatles fan until I hear this level of an... Oh, I see what he's saying. I'm going to tell him to shut up anyway. But he's saying he thought he was a fan, but then he sees the way we're talking, so I guess he's thinking,
Right.
I'm not. But again, yeah, these, like the Beatle fans that walk around in their fake English accents and they wear the Sgt. Pepper outfits, like, those ones kind of freak me out. Like, I can sit here all day and talk about the music, but even with Billy Joel, the retolders,
Yeah.
the ones that, like, I can't stand when people like, oh, Billy looks so happy with his family, or I hope he's talking to his daughter. Like, you don't know the man.
Some of them are just, they're a little too,
Right.
They're a little too close, yeah.
All we know about these guys are their music. Fine, we know, 1970 or whatever year, John Lennon married Yoko Ono. We know those things,
Right.
but like, again, to talk about when people, he must have felt this way, or, oh, I hope Billy and Chrissy get back together. So, like, shut up.
Oh, John would have wanted. How do you know what John would have wanted?
Exactly.
You knew him?
Right. And so that's, like you said, sometimes I'll start talking to people, I'm like, whoa, okay, I'm going to back off here.
Yeah.
We were in here a few years ago with Mike Stutz. He was in here,
Okay.
and Eric Fellon and Tiag, who unfortunately
May
we just
rest in
lost.
peace, yeah.
Tim, and I talked about it here. Tim was a frequent visitor to this show. The retired jail guard who had all the crazy stories about working in a jail. He passed away maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago at this point. And they used to bring Captain Jack in here as well. Another
Also,
guy we
may
lost
rest
a
in
year
peace,
ago.
yeah.
Another frequent visitor to the show. But they were in here, and one of the comedians that works here, John Truson is his name, he had stopped in too. and we're talking to Stutz, and I forget what we were talking about, but we were talking about just anything, and he like worked in his like Billy Joel quote, like to fit the conversation.
Okay.
And the comedian Truce just goes, "Oh, I'm gonna beat this guy like a baby seal," and we were laughing our asses off. But it's that kind of that stuff. I'm like, all right, I got to back off
It's
here.
too much for you.
It is too
Yeah.
much for me.
Yeah.
And again, I can sit there all day and talk about now and then and how the story behind it and how amazing the technology is. I can talk about that with any band or again, talk about a comedian and how they put a joke together, the whole creative process. I can sit there all day and talk about that. I love that stuff.
When does fan become fanatic?
Well, that's what it's short for.
Yeah.
Right. That's why I saw that in an interview with Prince years ago. He said, I don't call them fans because it's short for fanatic. I call them friends. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Carol Miner, this is making my Beatles fan heart so happy. Oh, cool. Everybody's saying. All right. Robert Shapiro says Huey Lewis never used auto-tune. That's true.
Well, all you have to do is look at the making of We Are the World to know that that's true.
Yeah.
Some of those outtakes. But that's the stuff that I love to watch. Like,
yeah. The making of.
The making of. They literally walked in after, what was the award ceremony?
Like the
They walked in
Grammys,
after? Yeah.
American Music
I mean, it's
Award.
like 2 a.m.
Right.
They were all just learning the song. And, some of them, Michael Jackson obviously had written it or whatever. He already recorded his parts. And he was singing it for, and that guy's total pro. Every take was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And you just watch his face when he's watching some of these other, And I feel for them because that would be me. I would be like, all right, can I have another take? I would be there till the next day. Be like,
Yep.
And so, some of them got it really quick. I mean, Steve Perry's parts are Huey Lewis had a big part, and he nailed it eventually. But his first couple of takes are really rough. And Michael Jackson's just like, this white boy, no. Like,
All right, well, here's your useless trivia of the day. Who was supposed to sing that part?
Huey Lewis's part?
Yeah.
Somebody else's part?
It wasn't his originally. He sang it because the person who was supposed to do it didn't show up.
I gotta try to remember his part now to see if I get.
I'll give it away. I just mentioned him a minute
Mickey
ago.
Dolenz.
Mickey Dolenz. Yeah, he was the only.
I just mentioned him a minute ago.
You did, Bruce. Yeah. Who else?
Prince.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah, that was supposed to be
Yeah,
Prince's
why wasn't
part.
he in that?
He was supposed to be there. He just didn't show.
He was like the only one from. Right. If you think about what is this, 1985? I mean, he was probably just as big.
Oh,
as
sure.
or maybe the biggest at the time, right?
Right. Yep.
Wow.
My favorite part of watching the making of We Are the World is Stevie Wonder teaching Bob Dylan how to sing his part.
No, do it more like Dylan.
Right.
He's like, no, you're not Dylan enough. You gotta be more Dylan.
I love that, man. That's classic
I think
stuff.
my favorite part was oh my god, I don't remember the guy's name. All of his takes were just and so we are.
Al Jarreau?
Was it? What is this guy doing?
Brian McGinnis is watching. Hello, Brian. He says Fugelsang is the best. Very nice. Ken Bichelle says, yeah, keep reading. Andy explained himself. I'm going to yell at him anyway. John Rusiello. Hello, John. Strawberry Fields in Central Park. Old times Beatle fans meet all the time. Yep.
That's where I got engaged.
Aww.
Oh, is that right?
On Paul's birthday.
Oh, wow.
This is what we're talking about. This is my whole family. Just we would not be if it wasn't for the Beatles.
Damn. So you went to a Beatle Fest. What year did you go? That you met Eri?
Well, I met her in 2003.
Okay.
Then we didn't see each other again until 2009, even though we both went every year. But we
No
reconnected
kidding.
in 2009, and then we started dating in 2009. And then, but the first Beatle Fest that I went to was maybe like her 4th or 5th. And our first time meeting each other I tried to look for the other, because I was 23. So I was trying to look for like the younger, cooler, and then I found a bunch of, cute girls. I was like,
man.
And who walked over? Donovan. So it was me, Eri, a couple of her friends, and Donovan. And we were all this was my first experience at Beatle
Was
Fest.
he hitting on them?
He was, I think, a little bit too inebriated to really do anything. He took his shoes off. He sat down, and
Took his shoes
he
off?
took his shoe. Yeah, it was, and we have pictures of it.
Of his feet?
Not just his feet, but of the whole moment. And it's great for us to have to be
Now
able to
that's
look at that.
2003 or 9?
That was in 2003.
Right.
And then when I saw her again in 2009, I said, I wish that I had pictures of that moment when we got to jam with Donovan. And she's like, I got some. I'll send them to you. She sent them to me, and we started talking, and then...
So what happened during those 6 years? What the hell were you doing?
I just didn't. We didn't cross paths. I mean, it's a pretty big convention.
Oh, it is. It is. It's
you know?
huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you didn't like seize the opportunity. You see this cute girl here, and you're like, hey.
I was shy. I don't know what I was getting into. I got out
Good
of
answer.
just got out of another relationship.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It was my first time being there. I was just.
Yeah.
I went to a Beatle Fest once.
Did you?
What year?
Was that? Oh,
Oh, it's been going on since the
probably-
70s, yeah.
Yeah, probably it was after I graduated high school, probably early 80s.
Okay.
With my girlfriend Mary Ellen, we took the train in, and I think it was that hotel that's right across from Penn Station, the Pennsylvania hotel,
yes,
maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's where I bought a puzzle. But was it always called Beatle Fest?
Yeah, it was called Beatle Fest, and then they weren't allowed to say Beatle Fest anymore because then it sounded like it was being, I guess, part of the Beatles Corporation. So now it's the Fest for Beatles fans. But we also call it Beatle Fest anyway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And this year it's February 9th because it's the 60th anniversary of when they came to America, and it's at the TWA Hotel, which is right by JFK.
Oh, okay. Oh, is that where it is this year?
Oh, that'll be nice.
Yep.
Yeah, that's nice and
Get
close.
a room.
Yeah, baby. Who are the guests? Have they announced them?
I don't know, but I know Mickey Dolenz has been there before.
Yeah, he has, yeah.
I don't know who the guests are this year.
I went...
They're kind of like fading away.
Yes, I've
year by
noticed
year.
that.
It's getting really starting to get a little. I mean, we used to have like Billy Preston and
Yep.
Patty Boyd came a couple times,
Yeah.
and God,
I met Neil Innes at one of them.
yeah,
My buddy got into an argument with Neil Innes. Neil Innes, for those of you who don't know, he wrote a lot of music for Monty Python. That's probably like his biggest, what he's really known for the most.
the Ruddles.
Right, the Ruddles was a Monty Python parody of the Beatles, and they made like a fake documentary and stuff. And the music sounds eerily close to real Beatle music, and it's kind of good actually. So Neil Innes made an appearance at a Beatle Fest, and my buddy asked him, said in the documentary, the song and the songs are like, they're that's the humor of it. It's like they're done seriously, but the words are funny and the topics are funny. And there's one song called Cheese and Onions. And my buddy said to him in the documentary, it's a different version than the one that's on the album. So my buddy was like, why? Just curious, why do you have two different versions?
How does this lead to a fight?
Well, because Neil Innes goes, no, it's the same one. My buddy says, no, it's not. They're two different songs. And then it just became like two 5-year-olds. Yes, it is. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. And they're going back and forth. And as they're going, they're both getting louder. I'm standing there. I'm standing right there. I'm like, what the fuck is going on
You
here?
really about to fist fight Neil Innes at Beatle Fest right
Yeah.
now?
So I did. So I mean, it wasn't. At least I don't think it would have gone that far. But they were raising their voices. So I finally just turned to him and I go, why don't we go? Denny Lane was there too. So I said,
Okay.
why don't we go meet Denny Lane?
Right.
So, we walk away and we're laughing about it immediately. My friend wasn't really, like he wasn't mad, but we're walking away and we got to be at least 50 feet away from Neil Innes, right? But we're walking, all of a sudden we're hearing, hey! So, we didn't know what was going on. We turn around and it's Neil Innes yelling to us. And he goes, you're right! They are two different versions. Like, holy shit. So now we just laughed about that the whole day. man.
And if I had to place money on which one of them was right, I would have bet on your friend.
Oh, yeah.
Just because
Yeah, these guys don't
they
care.
don't remember what they did. They don't, but
No.
the fans do.
Right, exactly.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Yeah. Let's see. Ken at least apologized. Well, did I apologize? I'm sorry, Andy, but I'm still going to punch you in the face and tell you to shut up. Some fans wrote homage songs using the artist's lyrics. Sickos, says Ken Bichelle. Ken Bichelle wrote that song. Remember he wrote that song, Cold Spring Harbor?
Ken is very talented.
Ken is great.
He's extremely talented. He wrote a song from my songs.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
he did.
He took lyrics from my album and made it his own song, wrote a melody, and took kind of lyrics from each of the songs from my album, and it's great. So
Yeah.
he's poking fun of himself, which is not cool, Ken.
Go yell at yourself. So glad you and Eri got together. Now you have two ready-to-be musician girls, says John Oliveri.
Oh, what's up, John?
Very nice.
John is awesome too. He's
okay.
he does all the on Mike Del Judas's fan page. He's I don't know. Are you administrator on that now? He does all the. He puts together like birthday collages, and he's really a talented artist himself.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Robert Shapiro says, in football news, Daniel Jones tore his ACL. He's out for the season. We got nothing.
I have 0 on football.
Don't even know what team it
We
is.
we performed at MetLife Stadium. I have that.
That's cool.
That was
you
really
had some cool pictures
Yeah,
from that.
That was amazing.
Are you on Mike's new album?
Yeah, I played ukulele on one of the
Ukulele?
songs. Yeah,
Wow.
yep. Sang backup on another one. Yeah,
When is it coming out?
he's doing his album release is going to be a big Newsday live event
Yes,
in the
I saw
studio
that.
in the
Yeah.
Newsday studio.
When
so
is-
that's November 16th.
November
But they're not
16th.
going to air it until after that. I don't know what the date is going to be after
That's
that.
a
but
Thursday, right?
I don't know, but there's I don't even know if there are any tickets left.
Oh, yeah.
But see if there are, because
Yeah, I'm gonna.
it's really he did one event already over there, and it was great.
Yeah, with
the
Alicia
sound is
DiStefano,
great.
right?
Yeah. I mean, a big screen. It looks so cool in there. It's like a nice theater, like
Yeah,
a nice
huh?
little mini, like
Oh,
200,
okay.
185 seats, I think.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And
maybe I'll try and get tickets for that. I haven't seen Mike in ages, man.
you got to come out. He's
When's the next in the cans?
I don't know. 89 North, we play there once a month, so I think it's November 21st, maybe somewhere around there. I don't know.
Okay. And they're always Tuesday nights, right?
Sometimes Monday. It's always a weeknight.
Right,
Because usually, we playing either Billy's got a gig on Friday or Saturday, or he's got a gig someplace else. But
Yeah, Tuesdays are tough for me because I'm in here, and I'm in here every other Monday night. So,
Okay.
But I haven't seen Mike.
the can show's a lot of fun.
Mike is fun.
Yeah, it's really we have a really nice crowd, especially for a weeknight, and it's the band never gets to get together other than these, so they're just live rehearsals, and just doing a bunch of different classic rock tunes. We did reminiscing,
Oh, really?
which I've never really heard any other bands try to do that. It's hard.
Is it?
Really hard vocals. Yeah. So
that's fun.
we have 4 singers in the band, so we try to pull off some of these tougher tunes, but we don't get to rehearse. So you get to basically see us try it out in front of hundreds of people for the first time.
Yeah, that's cool. Ken Pichelle said he's thankful that you liked the song. The fact that you played it several times to open your jams blew me away. Forever grateful.
Oh, of course, it's a great song.
Nice.
And I appreciate it that you did that. Let's see.
And I want to talk more about the jam in a minute, but I want to acknowledge this thing.
Oh, please.
Jules she's so nice. She I'm discovering what she's into. That didn't hurt.
It's a fly swatter.
I mean,
Because he always has flies in here.
Lately, yeah, I
Not
think
today.
just last week I think we finally got the last of them. There was some kind of infestation in here that lasted probably a month. It was like there were flies like everywhere. And every time
Reminiscing, walking through the park and reminiscing.
Little
Yeah,
River
that's
Band.
the one.
Yep.
So Jules was nice enough to bring the guitar that we're going to make Joe play. Or actually, he brought his own, so that's good.
He doesn't want to play.
But now you brought this, and now he's got to play because you brought your shakers.
I want to show you this instrument. I used to be in a punk rock band, and this was one of my instruments. Have you ever heard this one before? It's cool, right? I bought this at Sam Ash many.
What's it called?
I don't know. Nobody knows.
It must have
I
a
knew
name.
at the time.
I like your facial expressions.
I mean, I think that's going to be more effective at getting rid of flies than that.
How do you not remember the name of that?
It's got a cool sound, though, doesn't it?
It does.
You can work it. It's not like...
That's a sound that you probably hear on a cartoon or something.
I know.
The Beatles would have used it. If
Oh,
they had that available.
I'm
I
sure
bet
they did.
may
They
have.
probably did.
Yeah, exactly. But I always I'm curious to know if there are any musicians that...
That would know. Oh, I'm not
Yeah,
one of
that
them.
are
I have no
familiar
idea
with
what the hell that
this.
is.
It's cool. All right, whatever.
And you actually used to, have it
Yeah,
on stage, and
Yeah.
like, did it have an actual part of the song, or you just played it in the background?
Yeah, the Garden of Spacely Delights was a
That's the name of the song?
Yeah.
Sing a little bit for us. Do you need to get that?
Ooh ee ooh ah ah ting tang walla walla bing bang. Ooh ee ooh ah ah ting tang walla walla bang. How can I love you if you won't lay down? I don't know. It's a cool song. It's on YouTube.
All right.
That went from Alvin and the Chipmunks to...
Yeah, I don't know.
I know. I didn't write the song. Tommy Judge wrote it. We were in a band called Blood Clot.
Blood Clot was the name of the band?
Yeah, yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, we played CBGBs and the Continental and the Underground in Manhattan. Right Track Inn was like our home base in Freeport.
Did you play guitar?
No, I sang backups, and I just had like a bunch of percussion instruments.
Okay.
You know, bells and
cool. Whatever
vibrators
that
and whatever
vibrators.
that thing. Vibra slap.
Okay.
Yeah, that. This and I don't know. I sold all my instruments in a garage, so that's the last one I have.
Well, and you got your shaker.
Well, this is a new egg.
Oh, it's a new egg.
Yeah,
Did you buy this or someone give it to you?
I bought it.
You actually bought a shaker. You
Not
felt,
for today. I've had.
I know
I've
that,
had it.
but you were like out somewhere. And you're like, I need a shaker.
Yeah, I mean, I have guitars at home. I have a bass. I play a little guitar, a little bass, piano. I play a little of everything, but I have a better ear than I am like a proficient. Like I took guitar lessons maybe.
Okay.
You know, a
Do
while
you
ago.
play anymore? Live in front
Just,
of
She should be.
No. I'm thinking. I have a ukulele also, but I'm thinking of writing like little song parodies
Cool.
and stuff.
Nice.
Oh, that's a great idea. Put it into the comedy act.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, since he brought his guitar, why don't you grab this one and we'll figure out something you guys can play.
He doesn't want to play.
He brought the guitar. Of course he wants to play.
Yeah, but he left it outside for a reason.
Well, he brought it, though.
I'm
I'll
not
get it.
pressuring him
See,
to
see,
do
he's
anything.
going to get it.
Let's go.
This is awesome.
Let's go.
I love when Joe plays in here. We still have your song "Cry" on this machine here.
Do you really?
Yeah, in fact, I might just put it on while we're waiting for you to tune up.
Put it on.
Let me find it. It's here. Oh, there it is.
Sitting there waiting for the show. Second row. Sitting there wondering who.
Yeah. See, Ken Pichelle says do song parodies with the ukulele in your comedy act. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
You don't seem very impressed.
No. I actually started writing lyrics to that White Stripes song. Like, I got a feeling. Wait, how does it go? We are gonna be friends. Change your sex. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I was writing all these different things. Never mind.
You're a fool to believe that the world has let you down.
Yeah, me too. It's great for a parody. It's just right for the ticket.
Yeah, absolutely. That's Joe DeJesu, "Cry." You got any
I
new
love
music
it.
coming out?
No. No. I'm too busy. Mike's keeping me too busy.
Nothing wrong with that.
Not at all. I'd much rather be busy than not. So.
John Oliveri wants to know when you're appearing again with Allison Faith. Yeah, she's great too.
Yeah, Allie's awesome. Great singer-songwriter too. We don't have anything lined up right now, but we usually play together. You know, at some point we'll have a gig. You know, it could be last minute, it could be next month. But the winter slows down a little bit.
Yeah, true.
You know, but
all right. So, all right, you got the guitar. So, how's Jam going? So you just played last night, first time in a long time?
Yeah. You know, once in a while I'll do something with the family.
Right.
You know, we'll sing. My daughter sings and plays a bunch of instruments. My wife sings, plays guitar.
Your wife's a great singer.
Oh,
well, the whole family is.
She'd be nice. She'd be happy to hear that. Thank you.
Absolutely.
If you're watching now, I don't know if you're watching.
Jam, which I'm proud to say was birthed on this channel right here.
It was.
That's right.
But back then it was almost more like interview style type of stuff.
Yeah, true.
And then I learned very quickly that I'm not very good at interviewing.
I actually thought you were good, and I liked you did the trivia questions and stuff. But
yeah, I tried to make it a little more.
It was a lot of times and I've actually brought up a few times in here where sometimes you had guests like Ricky Byrd, who was one of the original Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, who didn't want to talk music. Like, do you remember that? Like, all he wanted to do was talk about comedy. We're like, I remember even saying, like, I don't have comedy questions. This is a music show. And but like, he gave you like one word answers, and he refused to play. Do you remember that?
So I insulted him.
Did you?
That was my. I mean, out of all the episodes that we did, that was probably my least favorite. Only because I was nervous because I'm advertising. I'm like, all right, he's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
All right, the show is kind of getting some steam or whatever. And I told him that one of his songs reminded me of a Bon Jovi song, and I didn't think it was an insult.
Oh, he took it as an insult.
He's like, well, I don't want to hear that.
Oh, really? Oh, I don't remember that.
All right, I'm sorry. It's not like I said that you sounded like, I mean,
right.
It's Bon Jovi. It's not the, but he didn't like that very much. But the best was Jackie Martling, because I didn't have to say he just talked and played, and we had a great time. That was just like a hang.
That was a fun
I didn't
show.
feel any pressure with him, and so
he played some of it, which is a rarity. I don't know if you know that. That's a rarity where he plays publicly like that. His his songs. Yeah.
Oh wow.
That was And as far as I know, that was the last time he's done that.
Wow.
He doesn't do that in his act.
That was a lot of fun.
That was great. And you had Malcolm Gold that day too.
He was playing bass, and I think we made that like a 3-hour. I mean, we were supposed to be doing it for an hour.
Well, and I know Jackie liked it for that reason too, because he's always with comedians and they're joking. This was something. He's a big. I mean, he started out as a musician,
and he's good.
He is good.
He was very good.
He is good.
I was watching this, listening to the songs that he wrote. I mean, they're great songs. Mm-hmm. The other bad, I mean, and you're going to see now, it's tough to play music in this set. I mean, you can see me right now. I don't know how to make myself.
Do you want to sit here?
No, not at all. But you're not standing. You got,
You can stand if you want.
I don't have a strap. I don't have a whatever. So if I do start to sing, you're going to hear a lot of bum notes, especially since I'm not warmed up at all. But there's one episode we had like 12 people in here.
Yes.
We did a 90s show, and we put
some people in the hallway
right. The broadcast is set up for talking, so there's no reverb. It's all dry. It's just.
Yes.
So, from a music perspective, it's and when you listen back and you're just like, oh my god, I didn't think I sounded like that.
I'm going to disagree with.
That's why
I thought it sounded great.
If I'm reluctant to play, that's the only reason why.
I thought it sounded great, and it. Like you said, it gained a lot of steam. A lot of people loved it, and they still do.
And then the pandemic hit.
Right. Yep.
And then I was forced to buy a bunch of equipment so that I could do it at home. And then when the pandemic was over, I'm like, well, I spent all this money at home on all this equipment. I'm like, well, And then at that point, it had become a family thing. Now the show had become me and my wife and my daughter singing. And people liked that. And I liked doing that better than having to find guests, having to come up with questions and come up to keep it interesting.
Yep.
And so.
And do you but you don't even call it jam anymore, right? Or do you?
Yeah, but
last night was jam, but you also have 20th century.
Yeah, so that's just me and Mike and Dan. We had a Twitch channel because then Facebook kicked me off.
Right.
Because I don't know why. I still don't know why. Maybe because I played a song that I shouldn't have played, and
I think that was the last time you were here. We were complaining about that.
Yeah. And I haven't gotten it back since. So then I went to Twitch, and then you got busy. Then we were gigging all the time. Then we were traveling, and it's hard to do all that stuff. But now that things slow down, I'm gonna want to be playing more because there aren't as many gigs, and so I'll be doing live streams more.
And still on Twitch or no? Because I abandoned Twitch.
No, I did too. Yeah. I mean, why limit? I mean, Facebook and other social media has so many more people than Twitch. And when you become an affiliate on Twitch, they don't let you stream anywhere else.
Right.
We had become affiliates, but you can't multi-stream. You can't do Twitch and Facebook at the same time, or Twitch and YouTube. Why would you? You're not a monopoly. Let people. Why handcuff people? You want to have as big an audience as possible.
Well, that's why I went to Twitch for that reason, because there weren't as many people. Because at the time, from the research I did, the people I was talking to, they were saying that Twitch is going to be the next big thing.
Right.
So get in there now on the ground floor, so before it's saturated. But it hasn't really turned out that way.
There were a lot of cool things about Twitch.
Sure.
Platform had different options because it was just for streaming.
Right.
Just for streamers. So they had cool options for things that you could do. That Facebook people are just scrolling. People pop in for a minute and they'll leave and they'll come back. Twitch was like, if you're coming onto the show, you're hanging. You're just you're watching the show, and then you could really interact with them. You could play games with them. They actually had different applications that you could do. But again, they just didn't have the amount of people. Facebook numbers are much better.
And then last question, I'll let you play I'm not asking for numbers or anything, but I see you got Patreon, you've got PayPal. Like, does that work out?
I don't have Patreon. I don't have that.
Oh, you didn't have?
No.
What do you have then?
No,
You have
like,
something.
When we do a show, we'll just put up the Venmo or the
Oh,
PayPal.
Venmo, okay.
And just if people feel like, they want to request a song or they enjoy the music or they enjoy whatever, they'll just throw a tip. And it's, it helps. I mean, it's a job. We're working.
That's exactly. And I've been toying with that idea in here for years, and I just never had the balls to do it. But
well, it costs money to run the show, so at the very least, even if you only get a little bit, you're breaking out even.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
Labor of love.
Absolutely.
It's still labor.
Yeah.
So
I hear you. All right. So are you trying now and then?
I mean, I have to get the words? I'd have to, I have to give a lot of.
It's up to you. You don't have to.
Well,
whatever you want to do.
Let's see.
We're just happy. I'm happy to see you as always. And happy that you're playing.
Let me pull up the lyrics. I know the chords.
While you're looking that up, I will read comments. Allison has a new album coming out, says John. The 90s show, says Ken Pichelle, was amazing. I listened driving on a highway road trip. The Jamily show is so adored by many. Wait, Tony and Joe are both off Twitch, so I can leave it now? Yes, Ken. Yes.
Abandoned ship.
How many days a week does Joe do lawyering?
Ugh.
Yeah. The day job shit. I don't go for that.
It depends on the day, I get, or it depends on the week. But I'm trying to get out of it completely. It would be nice.
Yeah, sure would. And John wants to know where your 12th string is.
That's at home. This is actually Michael Also's guitar.
Oh, you stole it. I'm telling.
He lent it to me, and it's really nice. I like it. I like playing new, different guitars.
What kind is it?
Taylor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Let's see what this sounds like. It's gonna be a mess. I'm telling you guys right now. I'm gonna have to ask you to.
Should we make Julie sing with you? Julie's got a great voice.
I'm not.
Don't know.
I've only heard the song once, so.
All right, let's see.
All right. Well, after this, we'll figure something out that you can sing with him. Cool.
I know it's true. It's all because of you. And if I make it through, it's all because
something like that. I forgot the ending already.
That was awesome.
That was.
The last
was
verse, you weren't even looking.
I wasn't.
Nope.
You sure?
That
Positive.
sounded great.
Yeah,
I
that
can
was
tell. I would
fantastic.
probably cry if I saw the video too.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Watch the video. It's incredible.
Well, I was about to say I'll show you when we're done, but it's
Yeah,
12:24. I
I
don't
know,
want.
I'm gonna have
I
to
want you to
split.
stay, but I know you have to go. So
I gotta be at work at 1.
Oh, well, I hope
in
that's
Long
by.
Beach.
Oh,
Yeah,
that would
So,
be a big fat no. Then.
that was great though.
that was fantastic. Do we have time to get a song out of you, or you got
I
to go?
don't know what you would want a Beatles song.
Whatever you like.
Yeah. What do you know?
Sing what you like.
I could sing a Beatles song with
Sure.
you.
Which one?
I don't know. We
Blackbird.
can- No,
You want a fast one?
I don't know. How about wait? Oh, do you know From Me to You?
Yeah.
All right, I think I remember that one.
All right.
If there's anything that you want, if there's anything I can do, just call on me and I'll send it along with love from me to you. Got everything that you want, like a heart that's so true. Just call on me and I'll send it along with love from me to you. I got arms that long to hold you and keep you by my side. I got lips that long to kiss you and keep you satisfied. If there's anything that you want, if there's anything I can do, just call on me and I'll send it along with love from me to you. From me to you. Just call on me and I'll send it along with love from me to you. I got arms that long to hold you and keep you by my side. I got lips that long to kiss you and to keep you satisfied. If there's anything that you want, if there's anything I can do, just call on me and I'll send it along with love from me to you, to you, to you. Da 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 da.
I'm gonna start to get it there.
Thanks. That was great. I gotta. Thanks for the clap. I gotta go.
Thanks
That
for the
was so
clap.
much
Well, that's a
fun.
whole
Thanks,
different.
Tony.
Oh, absolutely.
That was fantastic. I'm sorry that I gotta.
No, it's
stop,
cool. I get it. You got to.
but
You
I
want
gotta
to come this way?
race. It was so nice to meet
Yes,
you.
you too.
Have a great rest of the show.
Thank you,
Good
baby.
work.
Thanks again.
I'll see you
Tom.
next time.
Bye, everybody. That was so much fun. Wow.
Bosie says he loves Yoko.
Damn you. Okay, guys.
Take care.
See you, baby. You know, you brought up an interesting thing a minute ago when you were playing. Something we didn't even talk about with Fugelsang or anything. With the making of the new tune, how they took background vocals from existing tunes and made it work into this song. I thought that's wild.
They did that. I still can't find Eleanor Rigby.
Me neither.
I can't find Here, There, and Everywhere, but I know that they're there.
Because is right there during the
Yeah,
guitar
that-
break.
yes.
I think I hear a little bit of Here, There, and Everywhere during the chorus. If you listen close, I think it's there.
So my buddy James sent me the individual tracks.
You know, Frank did that too, but I haven't listened to
I
it
haven't
yet.
listened to it yet either,
Yeah.
so I'm sure when I do that, we'll be able to see what's. But I guess they didn't sing at all when they recorded it. They didn't do. I mean, aside from.
No, I read. I don't. Now this is something else I don't hear. But supposedly Paul and Ringo added new vocals. Actually, I take that back. I can hear Paul's new vocal. In fact, honestly, I think that's the only thing I don't like about this song, is because I hate to say it, but the man can't sing anymore. So you hear
You hear old Paul.
old Paul.
Right.
Old Paul is kind of loud in the mix, which I wish it wasn't. Sorry. That just ruined my chances of McCartney being on this show.
If there are any of those fanatics that are watching right now, you've been canceled.
Yeah, and I'm all right with that. Oh, you weird Beatle freaks. That was one part we didn't talk about. That was great, by the way. And you didn't sing that last night? Because you nailed it just now, man.
That was I told you I'm not warmed up. Now I'm getting warmed up, so now I want to do more.
Well, you want to play one more, and then we'll get out of here?
Sure.
Because we got, I got stuff to record this afternoon, but we got time for one more. And what do you got? So what do you got coming up? Big Mike Del Judas shows?
Yeah. I just don't know dates. I'm sorry. I should have.
Well, you talked about the Newsday TV thing coming up.
Oh, Paramount, actually, the 17th and 18th.
Oh, okay.
So back-to-back nights, and then
nice.
The following week at Mulcahy's, Friday and Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then the Cans, I think, on the 21st. Yeah.
All right, the 21st. Is that? I think that's a Tuesday. Damn it.
And then some live streams.
Oh, okay. Very nice.
Which I have not scheduled yet, but you could always just shoot a friend request on Facebook. I will accept. I basically made my personal page public.
Nice.
So that I can do what I did with the music page that is no longer there for whatever random reason, because Facebook sucks.
All right, so John Oliveri says Norwegian Wood. Ken Pichelle says track 6.
Ken, I couldn't even play track 6. I don't even know. Don't remember it. That's all I remember of it. My own song.
Wow.
I don't remember it. Don't know it. So what happens when you learn new songs, you forget, like, your brain's got to make room for the new song, so they get rid of,
I hear you.
Gets rid of, your own songs that you've written.
Especially, when you have a small brain like mine. You got to push stuff out of the way.
Oh, well, Christine, happy birthday. See you at the Paramount. Well, you said
nice.
Blackbird before. I mean, you want to do
Yeah, go ahead.
Blackbird?
Knock yourself out.
Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to arise. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these sunken eyes and learn to see. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to be free. Blackbird fly, blackbird fly, into the light of the dark black night. Blackbird fly, blackbird fly, into the light in the dark black night.
The least you could do is make some bird noises.
Do I have any?
Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly.
Very broken wings.
All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to arrive. You were only waiting for this moment to arise. You were only waiting for this moment to arrive.
Is it arrive or arise? I never get that right.
I think it's a rise.
Is it really?
I think.
Oh.
I'm not positive, but I think it is. Frank would know. But I don't know if Frank's watching today.
Why isn't Frank here?
Well,
talk about a good Beatle guest to have.
I thought about it, but he's not playing right now.
He's not playing.
He's got the carpal tunnel thing going on, so he's not. So I was like, I could have brought him on anyway to talk about it.
Right.
But I but I asked you first, to be honest with you, because I was hoping to get somebody that would play. So. Frank was just in here a week or two ago, something like that.
Oh,
He's in here on a semi-regular basis, so it's fine.
Here's enough of him.
Yeah, go talk about your prune belly somewhere.
We love you, Frank.
Absolutely, just messing around, and we love Andy. I noticed Andy left, so I don't know. I hope he didn't piss him off. We were joking, so I hope he's all right.
I mean, you're the #1 fan. I see. It right
Absolutely, right there it is.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that's not mine, but I'm hanging it because I am up there. Me and Carol are his #1 fans, and Carol might have loved that, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
And Jeff Bosey commented that he was every once in a while whistling like a bird.
At least somebody was. I mean, I
Yep.
kind of that's why I did the song, because your bird impressions,
Yeah, of course. Well, that was fantastic. And a big thanks to John Fugelsang for joining us today. I'm still shocked that even happened.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, that was really cool.
I can't wait to go watch those interviews now.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he, again, just a great comedian in his own right, an actor, and does all sorts of great stuff. So that was a personal big deal for me.
Yeah.
So. And always great to see you, pal.
Always great to come and see you.
Don't get to see you enough. But I thank you for coming in and hanging and having fun and playing. You know that I love when you play in here. So, yeah.
Brings back nice memories.
Absolutely it does. Absolutely. All right, we are out of here. We're actually ran a little late today. What is today? Monday. What's on? Steve Squared on tonight at 6:30. I don't know if The Word is on tonight at 8. I haven't seen them post anything, so I'm assuming they're not. But we got a lot of great stuff this week. Riccadonna and Byrne, they're coming back with drinks, jokes, and storytelling soon. In fact, they're coming in here today at 1 to record some stuff. So that'll be coming your way again soon. Hershey and the Keegs back on tomorrow at their regular time, 9 o'clock. Circling the Drain on Wednesday. Primal Scream on Thursday. Treading Water is working on a new day and time because their schedule doesn't allow them to do the schedule they had. So we're working on that. Live from Governor's Green Room, I think, is returning this coming Saturday with me and Don. So we're excited about that. Ken Pichelle, what a wonderful way to have, what a wonderful day to have no meetings. So glad I could hang out. Yeah, Ken, you picked the right day to come join us today. This was a great one.
I miss hearing Ken's voice for the commercials.
Me too. Yeah, Ken unfortunately does not make it on here that often anymore. So, but we do. We miss him. Oh, thank you, Jeff. Don't forget some great comedy shows this week. Starting on Wednesday, you could come to Governor's. Actually, I think it's at McGuire's. Carrie Karavis, Eric Haft, Carla Okeson, Rich Walker. It's a benefit called Laugh and Love for Brianna. I don't have any more information than that. I believe Brianna's a young girl, so I hope she's okay. But also Wednesday, if you're not getting to McGuire's, head on over to that meatball place in Patchogue, where you can catch Knock 'em Dead Comedy performing our mob-themed murder mystery show. We've been there plenty of times. We love playing there. The food is fantastic. Everybody just has a great time there. So join us there. And don't forget Hershey and the Keegs. They're doing their live show with Richie Byrne, Brandon Lacaruba, Pat O'Rourke, and I'm getting a 5-minute set in there myself. That's on December 1st at the Brokerage. Don't forget also at the Brokerage on December, 22nd, Knock 'em Dead Comedy performing a holiday-themed murder mystery. And this week at Governor's, just some of the comedians you'll see on a Governor's stage: Jack Adam, Courtney Otero, Austin Brooks, Ben Bailey, Tom Kelly, Daniel Torado, yeah. Go to govs.com, make your reservations to some great comedy shows. Go to knockemdeadcomedy.com to see what we got coming up. And where do they find you these days?
Joe DeJesu on Facebook.
There you go.
That's
it?
That's it.
Not even Instagram?
Oh, Instagram too.
Oh, okay. Cool. There you go. All right. Thanks again, guys. Thank you, pal. And we will see you guys tomorrow. Me and Sean Elliott tomorrow for Tuesday Trivia. See ya. Experience at a Knock 'em Dead Comedy murder mystery show. Suspense, excitement, love, more love, violence. Well, not really. And, of course, some music. Knock 'em Dead Comedy is the #1 murder mystery troupe, entertaining thousands of people for over 20 years.
You have a great night or what?
Good. Their hilarious murder mystery shows are full of audience interaction from beginning to end that will keep you laughing all night long. Their shows are not to be missed. Knockin' Dead Comedy's murder mystery themes include a mob show, a redneck wedding, a high school reunion, a family reunion with a luau theme, or your own custom show.
Johnny, you have a good time tonight or what?
Had an awesome time.
All right. You had a great time. KDC, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, all right.
Fundraisers,